Andrew Neil, one of the UK's most formidable journalists. Keir Starmer, the cautious, calculated lawyer turned Prime Minister. One asks the tough questions, the other avoids them. In today's deep dive, we explore why Andrew Neil appears to despise Keir Starmer's leadership style and what this quiet hostility says about modern British politics. To understand this conflict, we must first understand the man doing the questioning. Andrew Neil isn't just a political interviewer, he's the gold standard. With a career spanning 5 decades, Neil has edited the Sunday Times, hosted the BBC's toughest political shows, and launched multiple media ventures including GB News. His reputation? Brutal, well-researched, and completely unforgiving. If you walk into a Neil interview unprepared, he'll dismantle you. Fact by fact, line by line. Neil is not aligned with any party, but his core values are clear: truth, conviction, and accountability. He respects those who stand firm and shows no mercy to those who hide behind generalities. Now meet Keir Starmer, a former director of public prosecutions, a man of law, careful, methodical, not driven by charisma, but by structure and reason. When he took over the Labour Party in 2020, it was in disarray, reeling from Jeremy Corbyn's catastrophic defeat and battered by years of internal division. Starmer's approach was the opposite of flamboyant. He brought order, professionalism, restraint. But here's the catch. In trying to look competent and electable, Starmer also looked robotic, safe, and increasingly to critics like Andrew Neil, the tension between the two started building long before Starmer became PM. In 2019, during the general election, Neil famously issued a monologue demanding that Boris Johnson agree to an interview. Starmer, at the time, a senior Labour figure, was nowhere to be seen. Later, when Starmer rose to power, he made a deliberate choice: avoid Neil. Whether on GB News or on other major programmes, Starmer consistently ducked Neil's interviews. To Andrew Neil, this was political cowardice. If you want to lead the nation, you must face hard questions. That's how democracy works. So the resentment grew, quietly, consistently. And with every no comment, every media dodge, every vague statement, it deepened. So, what exactly gets under Neil's skin when it comes to Starmer? Starmer avoids specifics like a skilled barrister avoids self-incrimination. Ask him about taxes. He says, we'll wait for the OBR forecast. Ask about migration. He says, it's complex. Ask about NHS reform. He gives values, not numbers. Neil has publicly said Starmer appears to stand for nothing, that he's afraid to alienate anyone, and ends up exciting no one. To Neil, this isn't strategic, it's spineless. By dodging Neil's shows, particularly the Andrew Neil Show and later GB News, Starmer fed the idea that he feared scrutiny. Neil took it as personal rejection, but more than that, as an attack on transparency itself. In 2021, Neil launched GB News, billed as a challenger to the BBC and Sky. Many on the left branded it a right-wing echo chamber. Labour MPs began boycotting the platform. Starmer's team gave GB News the cold shoulder, but Neil viewed this as hypocrisy, a so-called Prime Minister in waiting, refusing to speak to half the country. Neil eventually resigned from GB News, but the damage was done. He became increasingly vocal about Starmer, criticising not just his policies, but his entire style of leadership. Let's be honest, Andrew Neil doesn't hate Keir Starmer in the tabloid sense. There's no personal vendetta, no scandal, no shouting match. What Neil truly hates is wasted opportunity. He sees in Starmer a man with potential, intellect, calm, discipline, but he also sees a leader afraid to lead. To Neil, Starmer is a politician who speaks volumes yet says nothing, who walks carefully but never strides, who seeks power but avoids pressure. And in politics, especially under Neil's journalistic lens, that is unforgivable. The question remains, will Keir Starmer ever sit across from Andrew Neil? Will we get the interview we've waited years for? Or will the Prime Minister of Britain continue to evade the one man who refuses to be charmed, spun, or managed? One thing is certain. If that interview ever happens, it will be a battle of minds. Starmer's caution versus Neil's fire. Law versus journalism. Power versus truth. What do you think? Is Starmer right to avoid Neil, or should every leader face hard questions no matter the platform? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more deep dives into British politics. Until next time, keep questioning and keep watching closely.